On Wednesday, May 27, 1896, a catastrophic event struck the city of St. Louis, Missouri, and its neighboring East St. Louis, Illinois. This historic tornado, known as the Great Cyclone, would go down in history as one of the deadliest and most destructive tornadoes in the United States. As the day began, the weather seemed calm, with people going about their usual activities. The local weather bureau had predicted thunderstorms, but nothing that would indicate the scale of destruction that was about to unfold. Around noon, ominous clouds began to gather and the barometric pressure started to drop. For many, this was a sign of trouble ahead. However, the day proceeded with little concern from most residents, as the forecasters lacked the technology to predict tornadoes of such magnitude. By mid-afternoon, the skies darkened significantly, causing unease among some citizens who sought shelter at home. At 5 o'clock in the evening, everything changed. Thick, swirling clouds took on a menacing green hue as rain began to pour in heavy droplets. Within moments, the Great Cyclone touched down, carving a path of destruction through the heart of St. Louis. In just 20 minutes, this powerful tornado claimed at least 255 lives, injured over 1,000 others, and left more than 5,000 people homeless. The hardest hit areas included the fashionable Lafayette Square and Compton Heights neighborhoods, as well as the poorer Mill Creek Valley. This tornado would not only change the landscape of St. Louis, but also alter its history. It remains the third deadliest tornado in the United States, forever marking May 27th as a day of unimaginable loss and devastation. As the day of the disaster approached, the atmosphere in St. Louis was charged with tension. On May 27, 1896, meteorologists noted a storm system moving through Illinois and Missouri. While they had predicted thunderstorms, they could not foresee the violent tornado that was about to form. The morning began quietly, but by noon the sky was darkening and the air felt heavy and oppressive. The first signs of trouble appeared when a significant drop in barometric pressure alarmed those who were familiar with such indicators. People began to take shelter as the clouds thickened and turned a foreboding shade of green. In the afternoon, the conditions intensified. Around 5 o'clock, the storm system had built up enough energy to spawn what would become the Great Cyclone. Just before the tornado touched down, 2 supercell thunderstorms were developing nearby, creating the perfect conditions for a tornado to form. One of these supercells unleashed a smaller tornado near Bellflower, Missouri, resulting in the tragic death of one woman. By 6:15 in the evening, another F3 tornado struck a school in Audrain County, killing 3 students and injuring many more. As 5 o'clock approached, the swirling clouds unleashed their fury. The Great Cyclone touched down 6 miles west of Eads Bridge and quickly escalated into a powerful tornado. In a matter of moments, the storm began to carve a path of destruction through the city, leaving residents unprepared for the ferocity of what was to come. With nearly 30 tornadoes reported across the region that day, St. Louis was about to face one of the most catastrophic natural disasters in its history. The afternoon of May 27, 1896, transformed into chaos as the Great Cyclone struck St. Louis. Just after 5 o'clock, the tornado touched down with an unimaginable force. It quickly became evident that this was no ordinary storm. Witnesses described a massive, swirling column of debris that roared through the streets, leveling everything in its path. In just 20 minutes, the tornado wreaked havoc across a wide swath of the city. The powerful winds, estimated to be between 168 and 199 miles per hour, flattened entire neighborhoods. Lafayette Square and Compton Heights, once bustling and vibrant, were reduced to piles of rubble. The Mill Creek Valley, a poorer area, faced devastation as well, suffering extensive damage and loss of life. The tornado cut a 10-mile path of destruction, destroying 311 buildings outright and severely damaging over 7,200 more. Streets became unrecognizable as homes, schools, factories, and parks were swept away. The storm was relentless, leaving a continuous path nearly 1 mile wide of broken structures and downed trees. As the tornado moved into East St. Louis, the devastation continued. Within moments, at least 255 people lost their lives, and over 1,000 others were injured. The city was thrown into a state of shock, with survivors frantically searching for loved ones amidst the chaos. Emergency services struggled to respond as they faced the sheer scale of destruction. Once the tornado passed, the air was filled with dust and debris, and the eerie silence that followed was palpable. What had started as a normal day had turned into a scene of unimaginable tragedy, forever changing the lives of those who experienced it. The impact of the Great Cyclone would be felt for years to come as the city began to confront the overwhelming aftermath of this catastrophic event. In the wake of the Great Cyclone, the destruction to St. Louis was immense, both in terms of physical damage and human loss. The impact on nature was stark, as trees that had stood for decades were uprooted or snapped like twigs. Parks once filled with life lay in ruins, with Lafayette Park becoming a haunting reminder of the storm's power. The landscape of the city had changed dramatically, with entire blocks reduced to nothing more than splintered wood and twisted metal. The aftermath revealed a heart-wrenching scene. Over 5,000 people found themselves homeless, their lives shattered in an instant. Families searched through the debris for any remnants of their possessions, while makeshift shelters sprang up in parks and community centers to provide some form of refuge. Local volunteers rallied to assist the wounded and homeless, digging through the rubble to rescue trapped individuals. Makeshift hospitals were set up to treat the injured, with doctors and volunteers working tirelessly through the night. As news of the devastation spread, aid began to pour in from neighboring cities and states. Offers of food, clothing, and financial support flooded the area, showcasing the resilience of the human spirit in times of crisis. Many residents who had escaped the destruction joined forces with relief efforts, displaying a strong sense of community in the face of adversity. The rebuilding process began almost immediately, but it was clear that recovery would take time. Debris was cleared from the streets and plans were drawn up for new buildings that would eventually rise from the ashes of the old. The disaster forced a reassessment of building codes and safety measures in tornado-prone areas. Many lessons were learned, which would influence future urban planning and disaster preparedness. The impact on the psyche of the community was profound. For years, the memory of that day lingered in the minds of residents. It was a constant reminder of the tornado's destructive force and a catalyst for change in how cities prepared for severe weather. As the years passed, the resilience of St. Louis shone through, but the scars of the Great Cyclone remained etched in the city's history. The Great St. Louis Tornado of 1896 left a lasting impact on the city and its people, shaping both its physical landscape and its future. The tornado, which lasted just 20 minutes, destroyed thousands of homes and buildings, leaving over 5,000 people homeless and causing more than $10 million in damage at the time. In today's value, that would be close to $5 billion. But the true cost of the disaster was much more than just monetary. It was felt in the lives lost and the city's collective trauma. In the years that followed, St. Louis rebuilt itself from the ground up. The areas hardest hit, like Lafayette Square and Compton Heights, were eventually restored, though some of the poorer neighborhoods, such as Mill Creek Valley, faced greater challenges in recovery. The rebuilding effort brought about a renewed focus on urban development, with better construction practices and an awareness of the need for storm preparedness. While technology at the time couldn't predict tornadoes accurately, the storm underscored the importance of improving weather forecasting and response systems. The tornado also had a lasting effect on the city's political and social landscape. In the 1897 city elections, reform candidates who had hoped to change the direction of St. Louis were defeated. The political shift was partly influenced by the devastation of the tornado and the role it played in mobilizing communities, particularly those heavily impacted by the storm. As St. Louis recovered, it continued to grow and eventually played host to the World's Fair just 8 years after the disaster, a testament to its resilience and determination to move forward. The tornado remains the third deadliest in United States history, and its legacy is still remembered today. It stands as a reminder of the sheer power of nature and the importance of preparation, community, and perseverance. St. Louis may have been scarred by the events of May 27, 1896, but the city's ability to rebuild, recover, and remember is what truly defines its story. The Great Cyclone will forever be a part of St. Louis's history, a symbol of destruction, survival, and the enduring strength of its people.